Hello and welcome to the Green Machine. I'm David, your host, as always, joined by Martin. No, Nick. He's on holiday again. Yeah, amazing, isn't he? He's a teacher. He works 9 months of the
Very
year.
hard. He works
Yeah,
very hard.
very hard. 9 months of the year and takes another 3 off. But anyway, we're here, don't you worry, on a Sunday night, not a Monday night. A bit controversial, but unfortunately, circumstances beyond our control. So we're not on our usual time. So we'll see how it goes. You never know. It might become a usual time if it works out. We'll see how it goes anyway. But just before we get started, really just want to mention our partners, our new partners. That is kitlaunchcork.com. That's kitlaunchcork.com. They have all sorts down there. They have GA jerseys, football jerseys. Oh, well, not the S word. Rugby shirts, the whole lot. They do everything. And Martin, did you say you want 20% off?
Yes, please.
20% off? Well, you're going to get 20% off. So if you go onto their website and you put in Green Machine 20, that's the promo code Green Machine 20, all caps, none of this lowercase nonsense. Green Machine 20, you will get 20% off. That is with kitlaunchcork.com. Get on there. They're good guys. They support the podcast and we're supporting them. So we're going to, there we go, all the way down the bottom. You can't get away from it. That is kitlaunchcork.com. So Martin, it's yesterday, or I suppose Friday was the first day of the domestic season. Oh, controversial. We'll explain why later on, because we know somebody's watching in, where is he? Portugal, Spain, Malahide?
Oh, I think he's in Spain, isn't he? On his
Spain.
he's on international duty. We'll call it that. Well, he's got away, hasn't he, from us for some reason. I think he's just so upset that the Euros, the women's Euros were going on, and Portugal didn't do very well. That's his other side, isn't it? Ireland weren't in it. That's one of his other teams. So yeah, Nick went off to the sun, and then he sent and then he sent us a photo of him sunning himself with Scotland shorts on. So that was a bit strange. I don't know if he got them from Kit's Launch. Kit Launch may well have done.
Cork.com. He did actually. I should have taken a photograph of that. Yeah, Portuguese.
He did, yeah.
What a strange fella.
I don't know. Yeah, that's our Nick. And so I think he was just getting away from, we're hosting this. This is an Irish football podcast. Let's not forget that. But we're hosting it from the home of the European champions.
Yes.
We're hosting it from London, both of us here. I've, in honour of their performance tonight, I have put up my signed Irish women's shirt, which is pride of place there this evening. So I thought I'd do that.
Speaking actually of pride of shirts and all that kind of stuff, did you see when Germany scored?
I did.
Did you? Somebody in the crowd, they were in Irish shirt, just to the left of that. I mean, look, it's all a bit of crack anyway. But fair play to the lady. And wouldn't you know, Chloe Kelly scored. So basically, Ireland won the European championship for the England women's team.
Yeah, we will claim that. Look, I think our rivalry with England is well known, and it's got a lot of basis to it. It's the right thing that they are our closest rivals historically as well. It's very difficult. Obviously, I'm born in England, see myself as Irish, as you know, and all right. I won't put on the accent, which I know some people do. Anyway, but no, I'm all for this. I don't really see them as rivals in footballing sense at the moment. And what probably swayed me to really get behind the Lionesses in a sense was just seeing the reaction from our Irish women. I follow the Irish women a lot more now. Katie McCabe, Denise O'Sullivan, Ellen Malloy, who I speak glowingly on this podcast regularly about, who's going to be a star in the future. And obviously we've interviewed Sue Ronan in the past. We know what Vera Pauw's done for our team. It's incredible, this performance and result for England. And it's just, you've got to remember, they are our neighbours, England, but everything that happens in English football will filter into Irish football, whatever way you look at it. And the reason I kind of was happy to see the Lionesses do well was because, I could see our Irish girls are all supporting them. They're all teammates of these girls. I mean, I even seen the BBC coverage was a little bit over the top, but I saw that, all the Arsenal players, they're playing with Polish girls, German girls, things like that over the years. And it's just evolving so much as a competition now, women's football. And I think we have to embrace that. It's only going to filter down better for us. And the likes of Katie McCabe, is getting behind her teammates, even though they're playing for England. I don't really necessarily think that always goes down well with the English football team. Look, Callum Robinson was at the Euro final, wasn't he? Was it Jack Grealish? The one where it all kicked off with me and you there, Dave. Not because of us, but that was it.
No.
But, you know, a lot of Irish fans actually went to the final tonight. A lot of members from Supporters Club that we're involved in, West London, went. Had a great time, great experience there. Someone in Germany. I did see Cocklechew wearing a German shirt. But, you know, I see the shirts in the crowd, even for the semi-final, the England game when they won the other night. I saw in the background an Irish flag is jumping around in the crowd and stuff. So it's just, I think women's football is just all embracing, basically. I've seen Gary Spain tweeted earlier as well saying it's an absolutely brilliant atmosphere. It's a carnival of football, very much like when you go to a World Cup. Yeah. Everyone wants to go and see Brazil. I think that's where our women's football is at the moment. And I think we should embrace it. I think it's going to work well. We should.
And speaking of which, actually, just to mention, the Ireland playoff actually against Finland has sold out. Bit of controversy about that. I think Nick wanted it in lands. He loves the controversy, Nick, doesn't he? And then he buggers off to Spain and leaves us to deal with it.
I think I got him going on that, though. I think I started him on that.
He wants it in Lansdowne, but
I said it's a missed opportunity from the association in the sense that it's with you know the brilliant support behind the Euros and sold out capacity crowds and stuff, biggest attendance tonight at a final 87,000. You know, it's an opportunity for us. We should be trying to get the women's game going in Ireland more. I know the players, though, I think that's what I've kind of backtracked on it. The players really want it at Tallaght. If we're not selling out Tallaght consistently, there's no point just having one game in the Aviva. Although I thought it was a good opportunity to do so. And at the end of the day, part of my viewpoint on that is that the association's got no money. We need, and I know that sounds very commercial head on it, but so I've kind of got mixed feelings on it because I think the association could have easily turned around and go, you're having it at the Aviva, you're playing there, we're going to flog tickets and have kids in there and whatever, you know, going to make money out of it. And that's a very commercial mindset, which probably is one of the sensible ways of doing it. But then the other angle of that is they want to keep Tallaght as their home. They want to be sure to sell that out.
It's a bit like Wales with the Liberty Stadium, isn't it? As opposed to the Vitality or the Millennium Stadium. They moved the games and they put them into the Cardiff Stadium. So, or Vitality, the Liberty Stadium and...
Municipality one, is it?
Yeah.
Principality.
So they played them there. And we're completely getting all the alities up. But anyway, you know, we wish them the best of luck. Obviously, we'll keep you guys updated. We give you ticket information, but it's sold out. So,
well, it is sold out, officially. But I mean, look, the tickets were €10, and I know that part of that is a pre-sale thing. With I would still look out on Ticketmaster. I think tickets may become available on that a little bit more because I think they have set aside some tickets for season ticket holders and pre-sale things, and whether they're all taken up or not, technically they will say they are at the moment, but I think they may not well be, and then they will become available. But you'd hope they're going to fill it and have kids in it.
Yeah, hopefully. First comment of the night, Kieran Boyle, lads on a Sunday. Bonus, as the Germans couldn't get it done tonight. Name it, Jay. Says, wait till the World Cup. USA will roll over them. Hashtag away to Jesus Umbro. Hashtag go on Adidas. Absolutely. You never see us wearing Umbro. Kieran, hope you're doing well over there. Probably going to be missing some of our regular guys, not realizing we're on a Sunday, not Monday. It is actually my fault, so I do apologize. But anyway, right, let's get into it. The first game of the domestic. This will all become clear later on when we go into social media watch. Nick was at it again. What is it with you and Nick, Martin? Both you causing trouble. I don't offend anybody. I do plenty on my own page. When it comes to the Green Machine, I don't start fights with anybody. You both of you just causing trouble, giving us a bad reputation.
It's Twitter, hasn't it? That's just the world of Twitter, I'm afraid.
It is world of Twitter. So Friday night saw Burnley kick off the championships, the English Football League, and the championship game between at the Huddersfield. What's it? Is it a John Smith Stadium or is it a McAlpine? What's it called these days?
Oh, jeez, I don't know. God,
with the curly thing. Anyway,
yeah.
It was at Huddersfield. Basically, Burnley got a 1-0 win. There he is, Josh Cullen, the lad that I tipped. You can watch back the episodes, but don't bother. That I tipped to be a smash hit in Championship. Nick had backed me up, but he's in Spain. Great performance from him. Most touches, passes, all that kind of stuff. He did really well, Josh Cullen, didn't he? 1-0 win.
Yeah, brilliant. And it was at the John Smith Stadium. I just checked. Finger on the pulse. Anyway, brilliant to see Josh Cullen. I mean, look, people are going to wake up to this now and look, the focus of our attention, obviously, with Irish players is going to be the Championship. That's where most of our players are applying their trade. Josh Cullen, fantastic, doing what we know he does. I mean, there's even clips now going viral, and I know that a lot of us now are watching the highlights of these games, or you're able to get a clip. If you type in Cullen on Twitter, you'll see someone that will have posted an amazing pass from the game. Everyone's cutting clips and stuff. Brilliant to see. But it was brilliant to see. Let's be honest. Man of the match in his first league game for them. Under the manager company. I mean, that's just vindicated his faith in him, signing him straight away. He knew what he was about from Anderlecht. We did our preview show last week. We were both raving, myself and Nick, and I know you were on that bandwagon as well, David.
Of course it was.
But we love Josh Cullen. Like I said on the preview, that he's the first name on the Ireland team sheet for me. Very, very important. And I think the Championship are going to see now what a good player he is. He's going to control that midfield for them. Not going to get carried away too much, but he's going to be he's too good for that level, I think. So he should be bossing games in there. And I think that's going to be the basis for their kind of Championship run.
And also Derek Costello making his making his first start, I think, for Burnley in the league, competitive start, 19 years of age from Limerick. A great day for the parish, so did really well there. Great to see actually young Irish continental managers coming in and giving the Irish lads a chance. I've said it, our reputation as, hoofball players and all that starting to change, reputation's getting out there. It's really showing what we can do on the continent. That's what it's all about. So Jason Knight played for Derby. Obviously that's an old picture, but he's got a bit of interest from Birmingham City here in the Championship. Now Jason Knight played right back all pre-season. He played right back again over the weekend in League One. And I think they're trying to extend his contract, which is why you would want to extend your contract at a club like Derby County. I mean, you got one of the most exciting talents in the Championship, or around that era, around that area, and you're going to play him as a right back, and he's he's a fantastic midfielder. We've seen him in Ireland; he's very rarely had a bad game, and they're playing him right back. Do we want him going to Birmingham? Doesn't seem to be a whole lot of interest or they don't want to play ball Derby, or nobody wants to meet their massive price for him. But apparently Birmingham want to. It's not great, but it's not League One, is it?
No, it's not. It's not great for him. But there'll be reasons to this that we obviously don't know yet. Look, we think he's a good talent. Nick done a fantastic article on him, to be honest, and said, are we getting carried away about him or not? You can check that out, obviously, at the website, greenmachinepodcast.com. But very, very good article. And it does sum up where it is. I mean, we've seen flashes of his brilliance in games, but you've got to remember then he hasn't always started our games either. And he hasn't even finished the season very well with Derby. They're a club in complete turmoil and a mess. I know Rooney spoke glowingly of him. But we've got a bit of an Irish presence there as well, Conor Hourihane, obviously. And I think it's a strange one. The positional thing's a bit worry for me, because I think he's got to be able to get a place in the side on the merits of his attacking, attributes. And I think it's a worry for me that he's playing right back. It reminds me, I think I said it last week, Robbie Brady was messed around in pre-season. I think even Callum O'Dowda, I got the message in, anyone in the sweepstake, got the name in there. But Callum O'Dowda's been put at left back as well in games before. So it's a little bit like you're so flexible, you can go anywhere else. And sometimes they play him like as a left wing back or a right wing back. And are they doing that with him? And I don't think they really were, Derby, but it's just messing him around a little bit. And obviously trying to then sign him up for a contract, obviously to retain his value when they've got no money. I'd hope someone is going to come in there, and that might just be speculation.
These are very formative years, very important years for Jason Knight, and you don't want him arsing about playing. You'll do a job for us, and left back, right back. You don't want that. You want this guy playing in his favorite position. You want this guy to develop with by getting games. As Brendan Rodgers would say, minutes are like oxygen to these players. Good help, Brendan. So you don't want to be arsed about, really. And I wouldn't mind him. Look, it worked for Nathan Collins. He signed for Stoke, and then he got a year. He was at Stoke, and then he went to Burnley. Okay, they got relegated, but they saw enough quality, especially for Aaron as well. And after his 1 year at Burnley, he got a move to a very, very good mid-table, hopefully, Premier League side with Wolves, and hopefully he'll kick on from there. So you kind of want something. So it can happen. So it's not the end of the world, but he cannot be playing right back in a League One club for a club that's a mess like Derby County. But anyway, we'll move it on. Benny got Ireland's first goal of the domestic season in England. Derry is there doing well. They're Rotherham first season in the Championship, which, hopefully he continues his form.
Look, he's gone up a level there. I was watching. I watched I was flicking between coverage of the Norwich Cardiff match. I started watching that. Right, I don't buy fake shirts, but I do watch dodgy channels. Sorry. So I was watching that, and I was flicking between, and then obviously Sky Sports Soccer Saturday, and Ogbene seemed to be doing really, very well in that. He seemed to often be getting a mention. Got the first goal for us this campaign, which is an interesting one. Great to see him kicking on. Again, it is a level he's gone up, and lots of speculation. I saw lots of conversation pieces after, that there was interest from other clubs in Ogbene, and I think it was actually Swansea who were kind of rumoured to be in for him, and the manager spoke very glowingly of him. But he is a threat. He's attacking. I think he even had a chance at an overhead kick he tried, and he's just a very brave kind of footballer, and he's got all them amazing kind of things he tries. He just seems to be playing without any fear at the moment, and that's brilliant. He's kicked on that kind of confidence from Ireland that it's given him, and he's doing it again at club level. You got to remember he scored at Wembley, didn't he, towards the end of last season? Absolutely brilliant. I mean, he's just a positive vibe around the Irish squad. They all seem to really like him, and brilliant to see him starting so well. Yeah,
he's doing well, and of course, you've already mentioned him. I was going to leave it as a surprise, but yes,
this is the renaissance of Callum O'Dowd. Look, I watched this, and no, I'm a joke. I mean, look, I'd love him to do well. He's a good lad, but he's had a lot of injury problems, and it's a little bit. I liken this a little bit to the Robbie Brady situation. Okay, Robbie Brady's a long way down the line and has had a better career, but he has been struggling with his injuries. I just always go back to the fact that his career has been very much interrupted by injuries. But I go back to the fact that Martin O'Neill trusted him in teams. Stephen Kenny really seemed to like him when he was first in the squads of Stephen Kenny. He would have been playing. I think he did play early games as well. He did like him in that attacking three, and it was interesting watching a bit of it the other day. That he was up front. Ahmed Bamadeli was playing against him. It was just interesting, to see his movement and stuff. But everything's quite controlled, and I like that. And then he did assist a goal as well. Now I know you called it a fluke, but he did assist a goal. So I'd like him to see him do well, but he's got to stay fit. And he's got to get a run of games, and he's got to be. If he's going to be near the Ireland squad, he's got to be playing week in, week out for Cardiff. Basically.
Well, as you said, he's playing left back. Normally he's playing left out, but there you go. Conor Hourihane. Speaking of being left out, Conor Hourihane kicked his season off with Derby with a goal. Nice goal. But yet again, it's the third tier of English football. So
it's found his level. That's it. That's what I said, and that's what I think it is.
Vicious.
He'll score loads of he will score goals and he will assist. And I'm afraid that with Conor Hourihane, this is what he does. He starts off at every new club. He starts off really well. He'll get an early goal for them, and everyone thinks, "Wow, he's brilliant." He's an honest pro, though. I think he's not going to cause any problems in the dressing room there. Senior pro now. Look, it's the last few years of his career. I hope he does well, but I think the time for us is gone a little bit now.
It's time to move on. Also, Como had an emphatic 15-0 win, and this lad here, Liam Kerrigan, got 4 goals for Como.
This is something we kind of covered a bit, didn't we? About
fair play,
the Italian players, the players going over to Italy. And I think I made the point on this that, Jesus, if he's scoring 4 there and that's the kind of level of it, Aaron Connolly's going to start smashing them in for fun, hopefully. But, it's good. They're all good quality goals. And again, look, it's an Irish player. He's going to get plaudits for that. And good under 21 player, but he's got to be doing it at a better level than that ultimately.
Yeah, what's that, Serie Z, is it?
Yeah.
Somewhere like that. I mean, that's fair play to him. He's doing better than I ever did. We will have a full report of all the Irish players in the squad. So we're basically gonna go back doing the Our Boys in Green, where we get a list, all the players in the squad and players that are just in around the squad, and we're going to tell you how to get on in their domestic season and put it up probably every Sunday night. That's what we're going to do, Sunday or Monday. We're not going to have 5 million different players because You'll get tired reading it. I'll get tired doing it. It's simple as that. And there will be plenty of spelling mistakes and errors. And you'll point them out to me, and I'll be like, why do I do this? And then it'll come to Saturday, and I'll start doing it again like an idiot. And then, it'll be the same stuff again. But I'm sure you'll enjoy it anyway. So that list will be coming. It'll probably be up on the Facebook page, the Lansing Road and the Green Machine Facebook page tomorrow. A full list for your convenience. Nice bit of toilet reading if you want to bring your phone or your laptop into the toilet. Probably don't bring your laptop in. I've tried that. It doesn't end well. But anyway, we'll move it on. Martin, to bit of social media watch going on out here. So we mentioned it earlier about the domestic season, right? So so Nick had a few lemonades, I think, and he was really giving out. Gonna really go to town on Nick here. He hasn't even commented on. He's probably not even watching. He's probably passed out in a swimming pool somewhere. Hopefully not Michael Barrymore's. Oh fuck it! There's nobody watching. It's a Sunday night. It's the graveyard shift. We can get away with it. We'll clean it up when we get. Sorry, Mrs. Prendergast. We'll clean it up when we get back to Monday nights. But here it is anyway. So the Green Machine, ladies and gents, he's probably offended a load of people there saying just that. The first Irish score of the 2022-23 domestic season, and Little Green Heart. I'm describing that obviously for any audio listeners of the podcast when this does become an audio podcast later on tonight. So you're thinking, oh, that's nice. Nice little round of applause. But that's when actually, hold on. Have I got it? But that's when. Oh, that's right. We have the Fun Police. And Mr. John Byrne responds. For the Irish who are geographically illiterate, the domestic season started in February and takes place in Ireland. Well, isn't that just nice? Well, obviously, yeah. John is referring to the League of Ireland and, saying, well, you're an Irish podcast. You shouldn't, the League of Ireland is your league. Where Nick responded on behalf of the Green Machine. Actually, the current League of Ireland campaign, the 2022 season, we know that as we are a League of Ireland season ticket holder. Well, he is. We're not. We don't live there, holders, and very geographically aware. 22/23 is a domestic league in the UK and elsewhere. But thanks for trying to catch us out, smug smiley face, and a thumbs up. And John Byrne goes back. I wasn't trying to catch anyone out. As a self-proclaimed Irish entity, you describe something non-Irish as domestic. That is clearly incorrect. It's a league's location that determines whether it's domestic or not. Irish equals domestic, elsewhere equals not domestic. This guy must be amazing at parties. So popular. And then, of course, I stuck my oar in there because I was thinking, is this fucking lad for real? What if you're Irish but live in England? John Byrne responds. An English podcast should refer to the English game as domestic, just as an Irish podcast should refer to the Irish game as domestic. Now, who is this John Byrne Martin, you ask? Who is he indeed? Well, I'll tell you who he is. Hold on. Actually, I'll take that banner off. Sorry, Kate Launch Cork. We'll put it back. We'll plug your stuff back in a minute. Who is this John Byrne, you ask? Here he is, John Byrne at TeleJohn, RT Entertainment Tele Guy, tweeting in a personal capacity. Old school lefty internationalist with tribalistic tendencies around football and music. Internationalist, but yet has a go about us calling the domestic league in England the domestic league. But he's an internationalist, yeah? That's... Yeah, amazing stuff there, John. Since we're geographically illiterate, what the fuck is an internationalist? And also, here's a guy who works for the RTE, right? Here's a channel that in 2002, now going back 20 years, but in 2002, right, when Ireland qualified for the first World Cup since USA 94, and the first major tournament in 94, that entity, RTE, lowballed the FAI with a crap offer, which actually allowed Sky to step in and sell the rights exclusively to Sky, because what they offered, or what RTE offered, was an absolute disgrace. Even though they lowballed their offer, the previous offer, even though they'd actually qualified for the first tournament in 8 years when the team was at an all-time high under Mick McCarthy. And also that very same year, paid 1.3 million Irish punts to the English Premier League for rights to show highlights, instead of actually putting that money into the League of Ireland and developing the game. Which, if they did that back then 20 years ago, we would now be 20 years down the line of further development. I think that's fucking hilarious. What do you think, Martin?
I love the way it's rattled you and Nick so much. Look, I think he's jumped on the fact that we are an Irish football podcast, and I think we tried to make it clear that, like, while we do focus a little bit on the League of Ireland, our interest is primarily with the international teams, the women's team, men's senior team, under 21s. But Irish players as well are of interest. And as far as I'm concerned, look, the domestic season now is where predominantly most of our players are playing. The ones who are in the Irish squad are playing in England. That's the domestic season we're referring to. And if you were to say who scored in a quiz in future, who was the first Irish player to score in the 2022-23 season, they're not going to be looking back at someone who scored in the League of Ireland. It will be Ogbene as your quiz answer.
Exactly.
And that's it. That's the context, obviously, we're meaning it. But yeah, to call it all out. And I think that's just this common, interest in, if you're not seen to be promoting the League of Ireland or shouting from the rooftops about it, you get criticised, basically. That is abandoned.
He works for a channel that does absolutely nothing for League of Ireland.
Yeah. Again, I mean, look, that's RTE. We know what interest they have in sport, basically. And Tubridy's one. I don't want to go off on a rant about him, but I mean, he just pisses me off in the Late Show with any sporting interest. And it's like the Irish Times as well. I saw an article in the Irish Times the other day. Well, I saw it on social media. We should have actually put that up, but basically, it was a cut and paste job and saying how the Motherwell manager had been sacked after embarrassingly losing to Sligo. Now that's in an Irish national newspaper, that they're describing an Irish team as losing to an Irish team as embarrassing. So that's the kind of level of interest. Some of our media show in our game.
And Irish clubs actually have a cracking record. I think like the last 3.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
European ties. Speaking of which, actually, this one for me, Irish propaganda there on Twitter, Minowell. Obviously, that was after Sligo done the business 2-0, which actually, led to Graham Alexander being sacked. It just annoys me, this sort of nonsense. But I just hate that. Do you know what smacks off to me, I should say, is you're a podcast. You're grammatically incorrect, in my opinion. You're this, you're that. I probably went to school. I went to college, and you're just some upstart fella. Actually, which is ironic because Nick did go to college because he's a teacher, not to study journalism, obviously. But it's that kind of arrogance. It's that sort of like looking down on you. But we're trying to promote the Irish football team. We're not about the League of Ireland. We don't look down our noses at the League of Ireland. I live in London. You live in London. Nick was
Nick is a Bows fan. It's quite funny when we do. Nick's interested in what he brings, obviously, to the pod often when we're talking about players.
We're about the Irish football team.
Yeah, and we're also able to see, we've done in our previews. We actually mentioned a lot of the players who came in from the League of Ireland to English teams in our domestic league. Boom, boom. But I think.
Are you listening, John? You're happy now, John? Are you?
I think we all support. I think with the League of Ireland, it's a very difficult one because it's a criticism of the FAI for not supporting it, and it's a little bit like how everyone's going to be jumping on the bandwagon of women's football now after this result as well. Like that give such a boost, and that's sadly what the League of Ireland need is this massive injection of money or some massive unexpected success to happen that everyone goes, wow, I can do that and go to that. And that's sadly what you're up against. But I think we all support it in our different ways. I'm going over to Ireland in holidays in a few weeks' time. I'll take in a couple of League of Ireland games. I find it quite interesting. I find it quite nice to go to a game completely as a neutral.
I'll even pay in.
Yeah, exactly. That's
for
it.
Once.
Yeah. I always pay.
If there's a hole in the gate, Martin will find it. I'm telling you now, there'll be Green Machine stickers plastered all over the place. Actually, speaking of which, cheeky little plug, if you want your Green Machine stickers, give us a shout in the comments. Send us a DM. and we'll get them out to you as quick as possible. We will get. There have been a few applications made from fans in Ireland for us to send them out. The person in charge of that, Nick, is in Spain at the moment. Once he gets back, we'll send him out. So do apologize for that. So Nick, if you're watching, get your finger out when you get home. Get those stickers out. Get the envelopes out. But yeah, if you want your stickers, plaster them everywhere. Send us in your pictures, and we'll fantastic stuff. But we'll move it back to where was I? I was ranting about John Bourne, cheeky bastard, quite frankly. But look. That just annoys me, though. Do you know what I mean? Like we don't get paid for this. We do this for the love of it, really. I've been at work all day. You haven't, but normally you are. But yeah, like I've been at work all day. You're normally working all day, and we come home and we do this and we put stuff together because we want to do it for the Irish. We want to give a different dimension to the Irish football team, and nothing against the League of Ireland at all. But we're for the Republic of Ireland football team. And sadly, we're not in a situation where our starting 11 or anyone from starting 11 is being picked from the League of Ireland. Doesn't mean that we don't have a love for it, but there's only so many hours in a day.
I think as well, if you're interested in the League of Ireland, we give enough shouts out on our show to say, there's a number of good pages and podcasts who cover the League of Ireland in depth, which is really the kind of forum for you. But do listen in to us and see what we say. Absolutely. And if you want to hear us moan about you, but look, we just want Irish football to kind of do well.
I mean, there's one there, Pelcast, Irish football podcast, Irish football blogs, and our Irish footy blogs, and to be fair, Irish Football Fan TV, they do a lot of stuff around the ground. I mean, there's a lot of content out there if you want the League of Ireland stuff. So and absolutely, like, best of luck to them, and we'll always give them a shout. We'll always do our best to help promote them as well. But we're about the Irish football team. Speaking of Irish Football Fan TV, well, you watched the interview, didn't you, with Aaron Connolly?
Yeah, I did.
So we'll talk about that in 2 seconds, just very briefly. But Venezia went on Twitter, said, "Greed and stupidity, chipping away at the game's soul is no end. But here's a special edition from Syria Bay. We're not allowed to share match highlights until 8 days later, by which time we'll have already played another match. We delve into the logic, but there is none." And then Irish propaganda responded to Venezia. "So I have to wait 8 days after Aaron's gone." I can't even speak tonight, can I? "So I have to wait 8 days after Aaron Connolly scores to see it. Fuming." And then one guy pipes up and goes, "Not much danger of that." You cheeky bastard, you cheeky bollocks, you. Just very quickly, you watched the Aaron Connolly interview. It's actually, to be fair to Paul over at Irish Football Fan TV, it's actually got a fair bit of traction for him. It's a big scoop, a lot of papers, a lot of places. So he came across quite well, Aaron. He's come in for a lot of welly for me and other Irish fans, but he, if you believe what he says, it seems like he's got his head in the right place finally.
He's got a fantastic opportunity there at that level, hasn't he? Let's be honest. I hope he does knuckle down, and he's, whenever we've kind of speculated about Aaron Connolly and where it's gone wrong, and it has gone wrong, let's be honest. We're all been told, "Oh, you're just listening to news, you're listening to Instagram, you're seeing socials and judging it on that." Well, actually, in this interview, he does actually say, "I was in the wrong circle of friends. I was mixing with the wrong people. I got told by Keith Andrews and Stephen Kenny, that they were showing me videos and stuff. Basically, him dropped his work rate, so stopped him, basically showed him, you've stopped doing what actually got you into our thinking and into our team."
Yeah,
and that's not. They can't fix that. There's only one person who can be responsible and fix that, and that's Aaron Connolly. So he's gone off the rails a bit. That's not a secret. We're not bringing that up to knock him. We know there's a player there, and we want him to do well, as we do with all Irish players.
Yeah, but we're not going to bullshit.
That's the thing with it. No, we're not, and that's the thing. And I think I'm really pleased now to see him kind of admit that. I think it is a bit of a, not last chance saloon, but it's the second. Yeah, he's acknowledged that himself now, and he's talking about the excitement of playing and wanting to score goals and aiming to be top scorer and things like that. Brilliant. That's what it should be as a target. And then aiming, surely he's going to have short-term goals and long-term goals. I'm going to get back in the Ireland squad because he has got the talent. And I hope he does well. I mean, it's funny. The interview is very good. It's got a lot of traction, as you said. I think he comes across all right in it. And yeah, I mean, a lot of funny. What made me laugh though were people saying, "Geez, where's this lad from Galway got that accent from?" But he, I think he seems quite likable in it as well. And I've been quite harsh, I think, on him in the past. But I'm only saying what I've seen of his interaction around the squad and stuff.
I don't think you'd be harsh.
And that's my honest view on it. I do want him to see well. It's like I can see. I could kind of read the body language and thinking, well, look, I could contrast it with when I've been in like Team Hotel and you can see Chiedozie Ogbene popular and having a laugh with all the backroom staff and stuff. He's part of the group and chilled out and relaxed, and he knows when it's time to focus. You can see what he's brilliant in interviews. Whereas I think you see Aaron Connolly, he just doesn't seem part of it now. Maybe shy, I don't know, but he just didn't seem part of it. Didn't look as if he was a footballer there. He looked like a gangster going around. So that's just strange for me. Yeah. I'll be honest, and that's it. I hope he does well. And it was a good interview, and fair play to Paul.
Best luck to him. But I don't regret what I said. No. I don't think you've been harsh. We're saying what we've seen. We're not going to turn. He's been great. He hasn't been great. Yeah. He needs to get his finger out and needs to get back to what got him, brought him to the dance. Got him into the fight. And to be fair, he's come out. First step is gone. Yeah, it hasn't been good enough. I've done this. I need to be better. My attitude needs to be better. My head needs to be in a better place, and that's great. And if you start off with that, you can achieve so much. So best luck to him, and we'll be keeping an eye on him over in Serie B. Obviously, we won't be watching highlights on Venezia. How do you pronounce it? Venezia or Venezia? Venezia. Jesus Christ. My vocabulary.
I mean, look, I know they're a football club, but geez, their kits are absolutely cool. There's anything like the home kit and the away kit, very Irish.
Do you have any? Are you getting any from your supply in China? Or
I haven't ordered anything yet. No, my supply in China. Jesus, don't be starting speculation. See, this is again, you're getting carried away now and giving full stories.
I'm just, we've had it from a very reputable person of the Irish football community that Mark Prendergast has dodgy gear. Just say,
yeah, right.
Just say, I wouldn't look at that.
You can get them shirt. I'm not promoting them, but you can get them from different sources.
Yeah,
just letting China. You can get any shirt,
a place like that. Right, moving on. Speaking of dodgy shirts, actually, it's a lovely little segue. I like it. Derby County have launched a new jersey. There he is, and I don't know who he is, but he looks fucking delighted to be promoting that. But somebody commented on it. Thomas, nice to see Derby County paying homage to Tom Lawrence and Richie Keogh with the tire skid marks on their new kit.
Yeah, that was very funny, I thought.
Oh Christ! Yeah, sure. Look at him there, isn't he great? Yeah. He looks so happy to be there. I love that. Speaking of which, actually, there's actually no segue into this, but anyway, I watched this monstrosity of DVD. I had a bowl of chips.
This is what is it? Roy Keane, As I See It. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah,
it was. It wasn't brilliant. It was terrible.
Oh well, I'm just saying this for the audio listeners. You haven't got the visuals. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, sorry, Roy Keane, As I See It. It was absolutely dreadful. I posted on Facebook, I'm sitting down with a bowl of chips. No, I wasn't being American. I didn't have Doritos or crisps. I actually was a bowl of chips. And Goujons, actually. Used to call them Dippers. Yeah, I used to call them Dippers when I was in Dublin. They're now Goujons because I'm in London. Sophistication.
Missed the trick there. Should have been prawn sandwiches watching Roy Keane.
I hate fish, though.
All right, okay.
And I hate this document. It was so bad. It was just Man United just advertising themselves. It was so tacky and shit, and him just going on a rant. I was now, Mark. Come on.
Yeah, no, this was a time because we'll come on to talk about another DVD that Man United did around that time. Man United went through a bit of a stage of doing this kind of media kind of collaborations on in-house kind of documentaries and things like that. And this is one of those things they kind of latched onto. It was around the time of the back of the book as well being coming out, and just chatting about that and showing Roy walking along a beach, and again just keeping the story going. And it was a little bit like a love a bit of
that, Martin. Yeah,
I do. Yeah. Did you see the tattoos?
I did.
Yeah. I mean, the tattoos are cool. I mean, I like the Roy King story about the tattoos. It's quite cool. You know, when he got the kids' tattoos names. tattooed on him.
Oh,
and the
yes.
wife asked him, "Why is my name not on him?" And he goes, "They'll always be my kids. You won't always be my wife. You may not always be my wife." Poor Teresa.
That is funny.
But yeah, look, this was what it was, and I think Roy Keane agreeing to do a documentary is quite funny in a way, a sense. But I think as well, Roy Keane's not a fool, and this was all to kind of stir up interest and people think, oh, I'll watch the DVD. Oh, I really like Roy Keane. I'll read the book, and that's it. And then it's more sales of that. That's the kind of cynical person in me.
Yeah, well, it's fucking true. You know, just Man United Media Machine there. Irish Football Blog watching. Hello, Irish Football Blog. Sounds great to me. Forza Man United. It was terrible. The goujons were lovely. Cooked in my air fryer. Fantastic. Just right. You put a bit of salt halfway through. Phenomenal. Arteries probably didn't appreciate it. And legends for giving them a plug there. Do give them a listen. Over there on Twitter, Irish Football Vlogs. Moving on the lot of social media stuff gone. Very busy actually with anniversaries and such. We'll have the happy stuff here. Did you know it was Jim Beglin's birthday? He was the big 5'9" the other day. Yep. Now Jim, I love Jim Beglin, and he was a fabulous footballer. Left back, played in the 1985 European Cup final. Funny enough, one of three Irish players: Ronnie Whelan, Mark Lawrenson, and Jim Beglin. Unfortunately, that was the Heysel disaster. So, as always, Jim Beglin, always wish him a happy birthday. I'll read this out for the audio listeners, but I always give him a lovely little plug on his birthday. Happy birthday to Jim Beglin. I did tag him in that on Twitter. Jim was an excellent left back at LFC and FAI Ireland. Until his career was cut short after a shocking tackle by Gary Stevens. It was a filthy challenge, actually. The footage is out there on YouTube. A lovely guy is our Jim, but he probably has a court order against me after I stalked him unintentionally in Gibraltar. The true story, I kept bumping into him. I was actually staying across from him in the hotel. I was in the room across from him, and I was telling a bunch of lads from Risk London actually about it. And I'm so, oh yeah, I keep stalking Jim Beglin. And as I about to sit down in my seat at the airport, who's sitting across, lowers the paper, Jim Beglin. As I'm telling this story, because you obviously heard his name be mentioned, and he goes, well, this has got serious now. I was like, yeah, there you go. And he actually commented on this, still looking over his shoulder.
There you go. Nah, legend, Jim. Absolutely brilliant when that night. I remember meeting him there myself, but yeah, brilliant.
What a lovely guy. But yeah, that was we actually tell that story on the 2019 episode, which is available in the archives. Tell that story in full. It's an okay story, I suppose. greenmachinepodcast.com, where all of our episodes are, if you want to check that one out. It was also Andy Reid's birthday. The big 4-0. There he was, played for, 10 years, but he missed about 5 years of that due to a very grumpy Italian man. Only got 29 caps, 4 goals and 29 caps, our Andy. I found this article in the Daily Mail that Kevin Kilbane wrote. And I think it was when Martin O'Neill had just taken over back in 2013. And I think it was about getting Andy Reid back in the club. And he actually opened up, because you know the way it was this big mystery, what happened. But actually, Kilbane he mentions it, but I've never seen this before. Where basically, they were all having a sing-song, as per normal. They played Georgia in Mainz, beat them 2-1. It was the first big away win in a very long time, actually. Probably Scotland 87, I think it was. Anyway, and they were all celebrating, and they were very, very happy. And Trapattoni came down and cut off the bar, and then basically took it all out on Andy Reid, because he was the one with the guitar. And he just cut a promo on Andy Reid. Andy Reid, of course, thought this was all a bit silly, fired back. I think you mentioned Stephen Reid spoke about it. He was kind of winding it up, not meaning any harm by it. Just
I've heard different versions of this. Andy Keogh gives a good version of this story on the Under the Kosh podcast. It's very good because the whole kind of scene of that was set that there was pint glasses everywhere and a big sing song going on. I don't think it was like that at all. It was literally Trap couldn't get it in his head that when the professionalism basically of it, that you've had a couple of beers. It wasn't like the old days where they're sneaking out and missing curfews and stuff. This is in the hotel bar. They're taking over a room and they're having a bit of a sing song. And Andy Reid's is a bit of a legend. I think Shane Long as well is another one who can, you know, hold a tune and is the regular go-to guy for the sing song, and Robbie Keane as well. But yeah, a kind of story, that it obviously goes that he took it out on him and sent them all to bed, and it kind of got ignored, and then he went, no, go to bed, and kicked off a little bit on it. But I think, the story, Andy Keogh tells it really well, that, you know, that they're all kind of calming Andy Reid down in the lift, and then Stephen Reid's there going, don't take that off him, he's making a mug of you. And then he gets Andy Reid going again, which is quite funny, because then they both ended up at Forest, didn't they, Andy Reid and Stephen Reid? But it's a funny one. I mean, we'll get to the bottom of it one day, a little bit like Saipan, I suppose. We might find out one day what happened. We're going to have to try and put the jigsaw together to find out all the pieces.
I just thought it was terrible.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it cost his career. That's the good thing about that article, and it is worth sharing, because he says, like, you know, Trapattoni cost him a lot of caps, because he was incredible, Andy Reid. He really was.
On his day, he was phenomenal, and he did have a weight issue. Obviously, you know, I think he admitted himself that he turned to drink, and he obviously had a weight issue. And then he actually got himself back fighting fit for Sunderland. He's banging, you know, he's playing really well, I think, for Sunderland at the time, and he still couldn't get. It was really stupid. It was actually petty by the manager. Say what you want about Jack Charlton, because I think the comparison's always there with Trapp and Jack. You know, the type of football that they play and the way, you know, they ran the rule over the players. But Jack, if you had a row with him, he would, most of the time, he'd let it go. And he got, okay, I need you to do a job for me. You know, he had the row with David Leary and he got back in. Brady was probably too long in the tooth for that to happen. Anyway, we're going down another rabbit hole.
Who brought Andy Reid back? Your favourite, or other than the manager, wasn't it?
Noel King. Oh, no.
Sorry, that is a little bit of a kind of in joke. That my incredible laugh there was just because you don't really like Noel.
Fabulous Ireland manager. Amazing man. Fucking you talk about the FAI gravy train. You could actually, there's an episode we did, probably, please don't listen to it because probably get done for fucking slander. Well, Nick will, because I don't live in Ireland anymore. Noel King brought him. Now, to be fair, Noel King brought him in as part of a squad of players that had been wronged by Trapp, to make it easier to hand over to the next permanent manager, which, to be fair, was actually quite sensible. And to be fair to Noel King, he got one thing right. Other than the under 21s manager, right? But anyway, my lovely segue. And speaking of actually a guy who, in fact, was involved with the Trapattoni thing, because I believe he also, I think I heard a whisper that this guy also told Andy Reid he'll never play for Ireland again. I heard that story, but that's Mr. Liam Brady, the honorary president. Now, I don't know how true that is, by the way, but I remember I heard that version of the story as well in Dublin. So who knows, as you say. But anyway, yes, Liam Brady. On this day back in 1980, he joins Juventus for 600 grand. Thereabouts, for $3,000 a week. I always loved the story of him with the Arsenal chairman, where he was trying to convince him to stay. He goes, oh, you don't want to go to Italy. That's a foreign country. You don't want to live in a foreign country. And Liam Brady goes, I already live in a foreign country. This guy, fabulous player. He won a couple of Scudettos with Juventus. And obviously, you know, he went on to play for Inter Milan, Sampdoria. But yeah, what an absolute baller this guy was. As I said, a left foot that could quote you Shakespeare. Today's also a very sad day as well, an anniversary. Bobby Robson passed away in this day in 2009. Bobby Robson obviously was he was part of the Irish setup, wasn't he? He was sort of like the mentor for Steve Staunton, and of course, you know, that just wasn't going to happen.
This is the world-class management setup, wasn't it?
World-class manager, and then it was world-class management team.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people now would still say Bobby was hung out a little bit by the FAI on this, and he wasn't a well man. And we covered that before as well. But I look back fondly on Bobby Robson as like just an iconic like football manager. Anyone on your TV channels, Netflix or anything, watch the Bobby Robson documentary, because it shows how good he was. And you can just see even from his players how former players talk about him, and even players who actually didn't play for him just speak about him so glowingly, like even the original Ronaldo and things. absolute legend. Did it at a very, very highest level. Did amazingly when he went to Newcastle, Barcelona, PSV, I think it was.
Lisbon.
Went to I think he might have been out there, but I mean, even come back to Newcastle, got them in the Champions League and stuff, and he could just, you know, he could just link through all the different eras of players and the multi-million pound kind of players coming in, and dealt with Gaza and Brian Robson and, you know, all sorts of players. And I just think, yeah, so underrated. And it was brilliant that he actually was part of the Irish setup. If I think looking back in our history now, maybe for the wrong reasons that he was brought in, and it never worked out for Stan. Bobby was more really like seen as kind of a little bit. I think Delaney was quite clever actually. This was the time when Delaney was kind of taking over the real influence of the kind of FAI, and what he ended up doing there was bringing in a big name, because it probably opened a lot of doors in international football for Delaney, that he was tagging on the back of Bobby Robson. I remember meeting Bobby Robson in San Marino, the away game there, and, you know, all the hospitality stuff around it with all the dignitaries was Bobby Robson was the main man. Everyone wanted to meet him, and Delaney's with him. So yeah, a good time all around the time of the Croke Park games as well. So it was nice actually. You ran into him a few times, an absolute gentleman.
Yeah, I never met him, but yeah, I was very fond of when he was an England manager, and yeah, Newcastle and all that. Like, you know, really nice fella. But yeah,
again, I will give a little bit of an anti-English rant on this as well, though. Like, again, a lot of rewritten history of Bobby Robson with England fans. They all call him a legend now, but he was hounded by the press in England and treated like shit by a lot of them fans as well. I remember before the 1990 World Cup. Remember, he was leaving after that, and he was getting booed at Wembley before they even went there. And then he came back as a hero after the semi-finals. He was treated like shite.
He was sacked by England. Well, it wasn't sacked, but he just announced contract renewed, and he called him a traitor.
Yeah.
But anyway, there you are. And of course, finally, another anniversary. The very sad passing of Colm Murray, RTE legend, was 2013 yesterday. He sadly died of motor neuron disease, age 61. I loved Colm Murray. I've met him a couple of times when I used to work for Paddy Power, and I used to work at the race meets, and you bump it. You know, it was a big one. You always bump into him. I remember him, like, he was before Tony O'Donoghue. He was ready to face, wasn't he? He was the reporter. He interviewed Jack, didn't he, when Jack took over in February 1986, and he gave him his first interview as our manager, past the press conference. I loved Colm Murray. He was just such a genial guy, really old school, very uniquely Irish as well. You know, you see some of these reporters now, and they look like they've just come out of a reporting school. Could be from anywhere in the world, American or English. You know, they had that sort of template look about them. But Colm Murray was just very uniquely Irish, wasn't he, in his approach? And you probably didn't see a lot of him over in England, but I always just remember he'd always be the pitch side reporter, and then Tony O'Donoghue took over and he moved him into racing. But lovely fella. But 61, motor neuron disease. I can't believe 9 years ago.
Yeah. No, very well respected. I know a good. I think he was very good friends with Alex Ferguson. I think even towards the end, because he would have met him at games and stuff.
Yeah.
And from the racing kind of part of it. So, yeah, absolute legend. Sadly missed.
Absolutely sadly missed. And well, that's all we have time for this week. We will be back next Sunday again. Not on Monday. We do apologize for that. But we will hopefully get back to Monday. Just cannot be avoided, sadly. So thank you, Martin, for coming on board. Booker you, Nick, if you're watching in Spain, for leaving us, holding the bag. Nah, it's all right. I mean, he works hard, doesn't he, 9 months of the year. Not without a day off. But anyway, if you want to listen to the audio version of this podcast, please go on to greenmachinepodcast.com and you can go through our entire archive. We have a series. Actually, we have a new series coming out this Thursday. We're going to be talking about tournaments. And we've already got the first episode in the can. Now, that's an old picture. I forgot to do another one. But episode 1 will be an introduction and will also cover Ireland's first ever appearance in a major tournament, which is the 1924 Olympics, and actually seconded by the 1948 Olympics. And they do count as major footballing occasions because they're full internationals as of 1999. So there's another one. If you're listening, John, John Byrne of RTE Entertainment, give me a break. But yeah, so send all your hate tweets to Nick and John at the GM Pod. He put me up to it. But yeah, anyway, so we've got a brand new episode coming up. We've got 15 episodes. We're going to go through all the tournaments. We're going to go through the Olympics. We're going to go through the Euros. We're going to go through the 1980, the big one, the 1986 Icelandic Triangular Tournament with Ireland, Iceland, and Czechoslovakia. That's the big one, folks. We're going to go through all of those, and we're going to have a lot of fun with that. So, yes, go onto our website, greenmachinepodcast.com. Give us a follow, obviously, on Facebook, /the GM Podcast, and give us a cheeky little follow if you don't already at Lansdowne Road. If you like what you hear, give us a shout, give us a follow, spread the word. If you want your stickers, give us a shout for those as well. Man, we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. And also, actually, before I go, want to give another shout out to our partners over at Kit Launch Cork. That is www.kitlaunchcork.com. See what they have. They have loads of retro stuff. None of that fake nonsense that Martin likes to peddle. Proper, genuine jerseys. And you can get 20% off. Green Machine 20. That's all cast. Green Machine 20. We're going to leave it there, guys. Thank you very, very much for watching. As always, we'll be back next Sunday. And safe home.